This is not the Sunday we were expecting and anticipating. We were on vacation in Montana with our son when I heard from Amy that Beth Simmons, our ministerial candidate, was sick with COVID along with other members of her family. Once again, COVID was impacting all of us, especially Beth, at a pivotal moment in her professional life, but also us as we longed to move forward as a congregation. We had been learning more about the 2-year-long Lewis and Clark expedition to map the newly purchased western region of the United States and to find a Northwest Passage while we were on vacation. They suffered mightily over those 2 years, but were undaunted in completing their mission, though they never did find that Northwest Passage they sought. It caused me to reflect on what we have experienced as a congregation in the 2.5 years since COVID struck our lives and completely upended all that was familiar. So many things happened to us during that time, much of which we have never really had a chance to process as a group, that I thought this might be a good opportunity to reflect on those experiences so that we can move on with complete, open-hearted anticipation to the new life that Beth will be able to bring to this church that we love. Over the course of our vacation week, I thought of the many ways that we were impacted as a congregation. I'm going to mention those ways one by one. After each topic, I will pause for a minute to give you time to reflect on how it struck you. Judy's retirement. We had been through a lot with Judy over the years as she battled her illness, made recoveries, faced setbacks. When the virus struck, she valiantly adapted to online preaching, mastering the new requirements of technology and ministering to us from a distance. Then she retired, and according to UCC protocol, we have been unable to connect with her since that time. How did that strike you? Deaths. Sadly, we lost so many members and friends during this time. In some cases, we never really had a chance to properly mourn the loss and grieve for them. We were unable to drop off casseroles and make home visits to the grieving. Remembering Nat Cass, Fred Heiliger, Sandy Bandieri, Dick Bell, Lexi Heatley, Eleanor Philibrown, Mary Lou O'Neill, and others. Thoughts and memories for you? Moving away. We lost others to their decisions to move away from Hancock, in some cases to be closer to family. Nancy and Chuck Van Horn, Judy Heiliger, Ken Schilling, Eleanor and Steve Philibrown. Thoughts? Church council. Throughout all that happened, our stalwart council held the church together. Did you know that the council met every week for 2 years by Zoom to plan for the next week? Under the leadership of Neil Cass and Amy Wilson, they single-handedly kept us together and moving forward. They wrote and printed the weekly bulletin, Facebook and online email newsletters, figured out how to do online holiday services, the journey to Bethlehem with giant posters, interviewed and hired staff, organized the musicians. Amy is the chair now and deals weekly with helping hands requests for vestry use, the planning of funerals, filling the pulpit with pulpit supply pastors, crises, opportunities, challenges. The council is there to resolve the issue. Bridge pastors. When Judy left, we were able to hire 2 remarkable bridge pastors to guide us through many months. Bob Kite took us through Christmas and Alexis Simpson through Easter and the spring. We never saw them in person, only on Zoom and YouTube. Imagine my delight when I actually bumped into Bob Kite at Ocean State Job Lots, both of us masked, but able to recognize each other from our Zoom coffee hours. Alexis was able finally to lead Judy's retirement service in person, outside when things were safer. And Bob recently led us through Lexi's heartbreaking funeral service. Thoughts? Zoom coffee hours. We have not shared a cup of coffee or a glass of lemonade with each other for 2.5 years now. Some of us participated each week in a Zoom coffee hour from the safety of our homes. We talked about many random topics, caught up on the local news and personal experiences, and found this to be a way to be in touch during the longest periods of isolation while church was closed. If you participated or chose not to, do you have any thoughts on this experience? Interim experience. The council hired David Felton to be our interim pastor to lead us through the process of defining ourselves and our values and searching for a settled pastor. He was with us for a few weeks when he was diagnosed with a serious cancer and had to leave for surgery and treatment in the Midwest. Suddenly, we were on our own again. David sent us a few sermons we were able to read and has stayed in touch, but soon we were in the business of searching for a supply pastor to fill the pulpit every Sunday. Any thoughts on this or the supply pastors Amy has been able to find for us? Search process. The council asked Chris Streeter to lead the search committee to find us a new settled pastor. Chris was determined that it would not take the suggested 2 years and was undaunted when we were told that there were very few candidates out there and fewer still who wanted part-time and could find housing in Hancock. Imagine his and his committee's delight when we learned that Beth was interested in meeting with us, that she valued our congregation and values, that she had a lot of kids, that she lived right here in town. Plus, we had heard her preach a few years ago and everyone liked what she had to say. It was very much like a miracle. We owe a debt to Chris and his team for being willing to take on such a challenging task and delivering Beth to us so quickly. Very soon, we will have her here for a candidating Sunday and vote to see if she will be our next settled pastor. You may have already met her making hot dogs at Old Home Day with her little boys and discovered that you like her. Though COVID put the brakes on the process for a little bit, we will soon have the opportunity and the pleasure of having a regular minister at the pulpit every Sunday, as well as one who will make pastoral care a priority. Thoughts? It is really remarkable what we have been through together as a caring congregation for the last 2.5 years. Remarkable, too, that so many of the visiting pastors have spoken about the spirit and energy in our congregation, even though we are small, that our values and positive energies have been moving to them, that the climate here is one that they'd like to be a part of. We really do have so much to look forward to.